Yo guys, it's me. Oh, Dickens Strider. And today, I'm here with the awesome Jade Harley Moments admin tier list. And we're gonna be ranking the admins on their power scaling strength. So let's go with some tiers here. Obviously, lowest tier would be like, infant level. Like street level, street tier. Next would be like pickle jar tier, obviously. And then we got just like street tier. And then we have like not planet, building tier. Yeah. And then we have King Bond. And trust me, you'll see soon why I made a King Bond tier. It'll become very, very apparent. Because one of these people deserves King Bond. Now, to start with myself, I'm going to be pretty modest. I'm going to put myself in a building tier. I just kind of have that natural advantage of being like 6'3" and like 200 something pounds. I'm like built like a tank essentially because I'm fat, and I think it really provides a good combat advantage that most people don't really have, and I think it's really, really useful in a fight because sometimes you just gotta have brawn over brains. And not to say I don't got brains, but sometimes brawn is good. I don't really have much to say about myself, without getting too egocentrical here. So let's move on. It's just me, little Dicky Strider. So we got Lexi, SSU, Jade, PD, Penis. And I'm thinking street tier. Like 5'7", and unlike that one guy who rounds up his height from 5'7" and 3/4 to like 6'3", we're not rounding her height up to 6'3". Right? So 5'7", instant disadvantage. But something that'll come very, very prevalent later is a lack of glasses. I don't wear glasses, and neither does she. So instantly, bit of an advantage here over what you'll soon come to find is a lot of these individuals. Right? So no glasses kind of increases the chances. And now, gag troll. Here's a fun fact. So, I did some research, and when I say research, I mean I was creeping outside the houses of many of these individuals with binoculars and a camera to kind of record their feats. And what I've discovered is that gag troll has the ability to open up a jar of pickles, which is very astounding. And it's kind of a bit of a feat, but it does not get to street tier. It does not get her to street tier, unfortunately. But it does get her to pickle jar tier, so I think that'll be good spot for now. I don't see her really need to be moved. I think pickle jar tier is just kind of the way to go, because open a jar of pickles. But here's the thing. See, you'd think, well, you can open a jar of pickles and still be like eating King Bond, but here's the problem. Glasses. Yep, bona fide 4 eyes over here. So, kind of stuck in pickle jar tier, because find someone with glasses, just take them off, and they hit the Velma from Scooby-Doo. My glasses! So, pretty simple. And next we have Phasmatical, who has a bit of a height advantage over Lexi, being like 5'10". But again, glasses, so it's a bit hard to really place her. It's kind of like you gotta really think here. You really have to think hard, and it's gonna be a tough one to do. It's gonna be a tough choice to make, but I'm gonna have to say above, because the height does make up for the 4 eyes, because if you're short enough, you can't reach the glasses, so it really just depends on who the combatant is. Okay. Next we have a quantum sponge, who is pretty tall, 6'1", which is like an inch or two shorter than me. World of difference, by the way. Trust me. I could tell from those damn bushes. The shrubbery, I could tell, even though crouching down. Damn. Might be a bit taller, but still so short. But regardless, I'm gonna say infant tier because, can you guess? That's right, glasses. And you know what they say about people with glasses? They're kind of four eyes. Four eyes, fluoride. And one time in elementary school, I remember they had me swirl up some fluoride, and some other kids did this, but not every kid did this. So a bunch of us were swishing and swirling fluoride. A bunch of other kids who didn't have to do that just stared and laughed at us, and they just wouldn't stop staring and laughing, and it made me feel really sad, and it made me feel really angry at the world, because why was I getting this unfair treatment? I think it was really part of the reason my childhood really wanted to be a communist, because I really fucking hate the fluoride program. It really pissed me off. Why the fuck did they have to just watch? They gotta talk to each other, or else switch. Anyways, that's not. Next, molten plastic. She was a serial killer who bragged about killing people, and she would confess and profess to be a demon. Okay, now look, here's the thing. She also wears glasses, so that's kind of a disadvantage, you'd think, right? It's like infant tier, but look, guys, I'm sorry to say, but for once, someone who is 5'6" and wears glasses, I have to give her the win. You know why? Because she could fucking do judo. In parkour, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm over 200 pounds. Either gonna leap over buildings or climb a wall? No. What's gonna happen? I try to run, I get caught. Right? I get absolutely boom. She leaps, soars, get dive, tackles me to the ground, beats the shit out of me. Right? I try to fight back. Now, here's the thing. Being short, that gives you agility. Okay. And the thing with... Oh god, I feel the effects shot. The thing with agility is... How can you hit someone who isn't even there? Because she's already behind you. Molten plastic? She's the devil. Whatever you think is supposed to happen, the exact reverse opposite of that happens. Grass grows, birds shine, sun flies, and brother, she kills people. And that's why she's King Frontier and the most powerful admin that there is. And like Stan Lee said one time, if your strength is your power, what are you without it? And it's like, you can't use your strength on someone you can't even lay a finger on. And I think that's why Stan Lee said that. It's unfortunate he passed away. I'll miss the guy. What I won't miss, who I won't miss, is a certain Robert Downey Jr. who passed away last week in a car crash. Because when I watched Oppenheimer, there was a scene where Oppenheimer was like making love to this lady in a chair, but I think it was like the dream scene, and I was watching that movie with my grandma in the theater, and it was really awkward, so I just kind of had to keep staring at the screen because I wasn't going to look at her while that scene played in Oppenheimer. But like, it's also kind of awkward to like stare at that scene. Like, what? I'm so like intensely gazing upon it. Like, what? Am I just gonna start like Jax-toying it in the theater? Like, no. So it was really bad predicament. And Robert Downey Jr. was in that movie. So I'm glad he was in that helicopter car crash, whatever. And finally, I'm not an admin, but a valued member of the Awesome Jade Harley Moments, a valued community member that we have. Lucid who I have to make a new tier for. And this tier is the yeah. Do I really need to say more? I don't think I do. So I think that's kind of the tier list of power scaling. I don't think there's any additions that really need to be made, honestly. I think this is pretty good. I think we kind of had this down pat. And honestly, yeah, I think this is good. Let's just go over this one more time. Yeah, so whereas glasses a whole inch or two shorter than me. You can open a pickle jar. Kind of short. Taller but 4 eyes, but would be able to win in a fight due to the advantage of being tall enough to not have Lexi grab her glasses than me because I'm so cool and tall and it's wide because I'm fat. And then King Vaughn herself, reincarnated. Really, I'm really scared of her. Actually, that's the only reason I'm an admin. Is so she won't hurt me or my family. Yeah. So I'm gonna just go now for because remember how I said I was watching the bushes? Yeah, she may or may not have spotted me while I was doing that. So I think I'm gonna end the video here. Before any nasty stuff is gonna happen. AKA, I'm gonna get invincible and get my shit rocked in. So I think I'm gonna close the video before that fucking can happen.